For the best experience, use headphones.
And Solveig, he's making pharmaceuticals, you know, like Prozac. You see where I'm getting at, eh? Well, you need children, you know, for the experiments as well. I hope nobody is sneaking up to me. Yeah, so this is why they snatched the children. You know, this was built by the brother of the Belgian king a couple of 100 years back. I'm really sorry, but I don't feel like getting any further. You know, they will only take my camera away and the footage. Now, I've been walking the whole day, you know. I'm very tired. There it is. And this is where, of course, where Dutroux, he brought the children.
would I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. You've got to go sometime.
Hi, welcome back to freesciencelessons.co.uk. By the end of this video, you should be able to describe what's meant by the words monomer and polymer. You should be able to identify the monomer used to make a specific polymer. And finally, you should be able to draw the repeating unit for a polymer. Now, the final 2 points do sound difficult, but are actually quite easy. Okay, so what exactly do we mean by polymers? Well, polymers are what we would call plastics, and I've shown you some here. Polymers are used to make thousands of things, including dressings to help wounds heal faster, hydrogels, which are polymers that hold onto water, such as contact lenses, and waterproof fabrics, such as this jacket. In fact, polymers are used to make thousands of things, so they're a critical part of modern life. So we're going to start by taking a look at the words monomers and polymers. Well, monomers are small identical molecules that we use to make polymers, and I've shown you them here as these circles. So these represent monomers. Now the word mono means one, because monomers are individual molecules. We can take our monomers and join them together to make a chain, and we call this chain a polymer. The word poly means many, because polymers contain many monomers joined together into a chain. Now, one key fact that you should learn is that monomers are always alkenes. In other words, they have a carbon-to-carbon double covalent bond. And a good example is ethene. So remember that monomers are alkenes. Okay, here I've taken 3 molecules of ethene and there they are. Here's the first molecule of ethene, here's the second, and here's the third. And I'm going to join them together to form the polymer, and here it is. Now this is called polyethene because we join together many ethene molecules. So remember that the monomer is ethene, and if you look at the polymer you can see how the monomers have joined together. Now you'll notice that we have carbon-to-carbon double bonds in the monomer, but in the polymer we now have carbon-to-carbon single bonds. So to recap, the monomer is ethene and the polymer is polyethene. Now you should be able to work out the monomer that was used to make a given polymer. So let's take another look at polyethene. We can identify the monomer by taking 2 carbons next to each other like this. We then draw them with the atoms attached to those carbons. And finally we change the carbon-to-carbon single bond back to a double bond like this, because as we said, monomers are alkenes. Okay, we're going to take a look at another polymer now, and here it is. This is called polychloroethene, but don't get hung up on the name. Now it does take a long time to draw out a whole polymer like this, so instead scientists draw the repeating unit, which is a sort of snapshot of what the polymer looks like. In your exam, you could be asked to draw the repeating unit for a polymer that you're given. So I'm going to show you how to do it.
The notion at the time was that this agent, oligo-G, would allow antibiotics access to the bacteria within biofilms and allow us to treat difficult to treat or often completely resistant infections.
In cystic fibrosis, we are recognising increasing numbers of very difficult to treat infections. We're running out of options. So new innovative drugs are vital, and this is very exciting.
The innovation here was to realise that treatment of multi-drug resistant and antibiotic resistant organisms in the laboratory was facilitated by prior exposure to these compounds, which are in fact derived from seaweed.
Understanding the mechanisms of action of how oligo-G can work in those different areas will help us move the boundaries forward.
Seeing something that you developed in the laboratory transformed into a clinical product for the treatment of patients. That has been where the immense satisfaction has lied, and also where the fun has been.
I just want to say congratulations. You've been selected for a very exciting business opportunity.
Okay.